Chris, it kind of looks like you're selling the farm, dealing away some of these veteran, starters.
Well, I guess at first glance, for the amateur person looking at it, it may look that way. However, I look at it contrary to that. I look at it at a very positive way. We're making moves that we're capable of moving because of the talent that we have. We have people that are able to slide in and that have slid in, and we played very well at Ottawa when we did that. So we're going to our move, and then it allowed us to pick up not only a second round, the guy picked second in the draft, but it also allowed us to pick a second round pick, which is probably going to be between 11 and 13, I'd say. So again, I look at it as not only a move that we can win with now, and I wouldn't make a move if I didn't feel like we could win. So first and foremost, that's the first thing. And then secondly, you have to look long term. When you're the GM, you have to look long term and not just look at right now. So you have to look at both sides of things.
Is that one thing you're finding different, Chris? I mean, you've held the dual role of head coach and GM before, but is that, do you get into arguments with yourself sometimes? You'd rather have one thing as a head coach and one thing as a GM?
Like I say, I think you have to ask yourself, do we have the capabilities of winning the football game? Just like 2 weeks ago when we went to Ottawa in the same exact situation, we were able to go in there and we played probably our best offensive football game, especially in the second half. And so we've got a guy that's very capable of doing the role at the center position, and we have a very good player in 64 that's going to step in at guard that needs the opportunity to show. And again, the group that was here before me, they drafted him at a very high level, so it's time for him to step up and do the things that he's capable of doing. And then, like I say, in return, we were able to bring in a guy that somebody thought very highly of in years past, the second pick in the draft, to come in and be both center and guard. He played against us when we went over to Hamilton. So that's what allows us to make that move. Beard's certainly a guy that's been, good for years. He's from here. I understand all of that. He's a really good guy, just like Nafis and Kostikin. Those are some really good guys. But when somebody throws out a second-round draft pick, and allows you to put yourself in that position 6 months from now when we have the draft or whenever it is, it'll be a good situation for us. So I've got to look at both sides.
So you picked up a second and a third this week. Are you of the belief, like a lot of people are, that next year's draft is a quality draft?
It's probably one of the deepest drafts, in years past. I didn't think last year's draft was extremely deep, but I think this year's draft has got some guys, especially at the top. And so we put ourselves in a position to go try to get some of those guys.
You got a history with David, obviously. You were here when he was drafted. You
That's
wanted
right.
to pick up with him. Was
No.
that a tough phone call?
Yeah, again, and he's an excellent guy. He's a guy that's very highly thought of in the locker room and all that kind of business. And so yeah, it was a very tough decision. It wasn't one that was made hastily. And but when they wouldn't give up. They didn't give up their first to get a quarterback, but they came with a second to get David Beard. So that tells you exactly what they thought of him and what we thought of him. And so it allows us to, like I say, pick up a pick that's going to be able to help us in years to come.
Tell me about Gibbon.
Yeah, Gibbon's a really, really good player, and he's extremely, extremely smart. Had a couple of our players that played with him, and I had discussions with a number of different people from the league yesterday concerning exactly who he was both as a person and as a student, and not just as a football player, and they had nothing but rave reviews about him.
Obviously, it sounds you got to do your homework when you're making some of these trades.
Absolutely, yeah.
You've lost some veterans this week. Are you concerned about how the other guys react to when they see some guys they played with for a long time?
Well, that's always the concern. Again, you would hope that we've got enough leadership in the locker room with the guys that we have. And quite honestly, I had a conversation with some of them today. It's time for some of the others to become the leaders. And it's for every time there's a door shut, there's a door open. All right. See ya.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
See ya.